Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. So this was all really inspired by my recent Soraka games. I'm sure most of you guys can relate, where somebody is auto-filled like the jungler and then they go and pick Lee Sin rather than something that would actually be pretty good. We're getting towards the end of the season now. It's already September. You got a couple of months left, so it's actually not too long. And if you really want to climb, especially if you're not playing that many games, then learning to win when you're filled is going to be like a really important skill. So what I've done is I put together 20 of the best filled champions you can play in each role. So it's like 4 per role. And if you get filled, these are really good ones in the current season to play and to stand a really good chance to still win. I'm going to order this video by the roles that I see get filled the most, and one of the most actually is going to be junglers now. Starting as Safamundo is very straightforward to play at the moment. He is like the perfect champion to play if you get filled into the jungle role. You're going to power through the jungle and then you're a massive meat shield for people for your team. The whole point is you absorb huge amounts of damage and you don't have to do anything to do that, just be in the right place, right? He's very hard to burst. It's hard to kill him quickly, so you can make your mistakes and you're not going to die for them. Your ganks are very easy to pull off. You just hit your Q, you red sight somebody and then you charge at them. There are no fancy combos. There are no big skill shots to really miss. So it's pretty straightforward. Vi is another one who has a very easy jungle clear, so you have more gold on average and you spend more time ganking as well, which I think is a really hard balance to find for somebody who is filled jungle. She also has a very straightforward way to win. You press R on somebody, it will make you do more in the game as well, because every time it's up, you just go and use it, right? You're not going to have this AFK farm and zero impact. Your Q crowd control combined with your ultimate makes it really easy to lock down an AD carry, which is a pretty important target in a fight right now. And your passive shield and your aftershock mean that you don't die when you actually do dive in, giving a bit more time for your follow-up, and you don't have to time your engages perfectly. Amumu is another one that does a similar job in a different way. So your jungle is really easy to clear because you have your passive and you have your W damage, your E as well anyway, so you're going to breeze through that. Your Q can be used to very easily set up fights, even if you hit a minion and your ultimate afterwards to hit the enemy, and then you obviously lock everybody down, right? Crowd control will win you games. In solo queue, having a frontline, having a tank, having engage and crowd control will be a massive advantage. Last up is a bit different, but if you really want to have a bit more impact, then Jarvan gets more gold than other junglers because of his flag. It sounds a bit weird, but it's giving assists like crazy everywhere, and it also gives attack speed, so it's useful even if you're just standing around not really doing much. He's a really good ganker, much better than the other ones here, so if you want to be a bit more aggressive, then this is going to be the one for you. Plus, he's not that hard really. You hit your EQ combo, your skill shot, your one skill shot, and that's it. You also bring good engage later as well, so you will always be useful, even if you end up dying after you dive in. Like, at least you've started that fight for your team. Next up, the most common role that I see filled is going to be support, right? Nobody, well, actually this season, more especially, like supports are more important. So actually, a lot more people do want to play support. If you get filled there though, there are some that are just way better. So first off is Soraka. She's really hard to mess up, especially if you take your barrier. It's a really safe pick into most matchups, especially because of her silence. She is going to be good throughout the entire game as well. From very early into the game to late, she always has this kind of global pressure and this hill pressure anyway, but she isn't really that hard to play. She doesn't need to be aggressive in lane to win. You can do if you want to, but you don't have to. So Morgana is also really good because she's kind of like the aggressive pick that can win lane with no real risk. Like, her black shield, first of all, makes lanes versus Leona, Blitzcrank and stuff super safe, and you always have that to fall back on. You do have good poke in lane though, because your W was reworked, so it helps punish people who risk staying at low health. Like, once they get below half health, it actually does a lot of damage. Your ultimate, your Q alone can be game changers really if you hit the right champions, because the crowd control just lasts for so long. Morgana is a very simple, a very nice champion to play. You have different build paths as well. You can go AP more, you can go supporty more as well, but she's really good at helping her AD, who isn't hopefully going to be filled as well. And next two are more carry orientated. So Blitzcrank has huge amounts of lane pressure, right? One hook can basically win you the lane actually. Even just holding the ability though sometimes applies a bit more pressure than missing it, and can actually be good even if you're not doing anything. He's a very simple champion and there's nothing special as a support either. It's just a skill shot that you have to hit, so you can be effective even if you first time blitz. Last up, we have a different kind of carry. So we have Brand for our damage, right? Huge amounts of poke in the lane phase and burst when you want to kill somebody, because he is just a mage that relies on skill shots. He's not really a support. He can actually carry harder than the AD carry in some games, honestly. You're not really relying on others at all. You have burst damage from your 3 abilities, like your passive, that can one-shot squishies at basically every single point in the game. The other role that I personally always get filled to, and I see a lot, is top lane. So that's going to be our third role that we look at. First of all, we have Malphite. He's really good at the moment. I don't know why he's so good, but he actually is insane. So he's super tanky, partly because of the passive shield, which is 10% of your max health scaling. So late game, you have this potential as well. You've got pretty good wave clear. You can farm well. you have your W, you have your Sunfire as well, so you can push and actually kind of contain the enemy top lane and have a bit of pressure, especially with your Q damage. Makes it very easy to trade, especially with Arcane Comet, so you actually can kill some stuff because you can build AP or you can build tank and still be viable. Next up, you might agree, you might not, but I think Jack's actually a pretty good field champion because he's a safe pick into almost any matchup, just because you can scale and you can right click eventually. You're a late game monster, you have loads of reasons why you're good late game, but field top players tend to just play the lane. They don't really move around or roam or anything, and that's kind of okay for Jax. You win games through your team fights or through your split push. It doesn't really matter because you have your Conqueror, you have your Spear of Shojin, and they do pretty much all the work for you in a team fight. Going back to more of a standard field champion, I guess, like Garen's really good right now as well. His passive, first of all, lets you trade badly and make mistakes, but you don't lose out on farm and you don't really get punished, and that's why it's so good. He's also pretty simple. You have your Q, which is really good for engage or disengage. It actually cleanses slows, which I don't think a lot of people know, but you have move speed as well. You land the empowered auto attack afterwards. You get some free damage while they're silenced, and the silence is actually really good for team fights. You've got armor shred in there as well anyway. You're building tanky or at least health, and you still do good damage, so you're a good frontline. You can still carry as well, and he's very straightforward. So last up, if you have to play a carry and you really want to go nuts, then Kayle is actually one of the best now to probably do that. The idea of Kayle is you're basically just holding onto the lane phase, which you're probably going to lose when you're filled anyway, but you scale, and that's the most important part, so it doesn't matter if you lose. You just have to get 1 or 2 items. Even if you're behind, even if you fed a couple of kills and stuff, you can push, you can get your items, and then you can take over the game. The important part about Kayle though is it's very, very simple to actually carry with her once you get to that late game point. You're just going to right click. Obviously, you should try and use your abilities as well. That would kind of help. Sometimes press your ultimate on other people. That's about it though. You are just really going to right click. I don't really know which between AD carry and mid lane is more likely to get filled to, so we're just going to go to AD first, and then we're going to round up the video with mid lane. So for AD carries, the first one is going to be Ashe. She's really good at the moment anyway, but she's going to be the best AD carry to really have as a team player, I guess. Like, she's always going to be good no matter what happens in the game. The other thing is you've got high range, so it's very hard to bully an Ashe in the lane phase as long as you use it and you stay at your max range, especially with the slows as well, but you can poke with your volley and your autos. I don't really think she has a bad phase in the game. I think she's good at every stage, just in different ways. Like, you don't have to carry with Ashe, but you can do, and so you kind of got both covered. Next up is a bit different. Tristana is way more carry orientated. She's a very mobile champion with her jump resets as well. It makes her really safe to play with her range later, but she's also really aggressive. She has a very simple kill combo. You bomb somebody, you stack it up, you jump on them if it's safe to do so, you add another bomb charge with that jump as well. You kill someone or you get the reset and then you go on someone else. That should get you a few kills, but she's also got really good wave clear, so she farms easier and quicker. She gets more gold on average than others as well, and she's really good early, but she also scales well. She ends up outranging others with still very good damage. If you really just want to win at the moment in Season 9, when you get filled to AD, then Jinx is actually going to be the best for it. She's a purely, well, mostly auto-attack based champion, which is kind of rewarded just for sitting there and right-clicking. You've got high range with your rockets. You outrange most others to trade anyway, and you do decent damage with that, actually. But you have your traps to kind of stay safe. You have your zap as well to do damage from range. So it makes her, like, even safer to play at the very back. There are no complex mechanics or combos that you have to watch out for, and you've got very easy wave clear with your rockets. You've got your resets afterwards to pick up more kills, so you're going to get more gold than other AD carries. Gold makes AD 10 times easier to compare to other roles, so it actually is a really big point. Last up, we have Caitlyn, and she is the hardest of these to play at a good level, but very easy to play at a basic one. It's quite difficult to mess her up, I guess. She's got high range. It's easy to bully people, to farm and have a good lane phase. You're very safe with your net and your range combined, so if somebody runs at you, you're going to net away, you're going to Q probably as well to win that trade and then just run. She scales well. You can just prioritize farming, which is good. You don't have to like kill anything, and there are lots more to carry really hard if you get good traps and stuff as well, but at a basic level you can kind of just right click. Last up, we're going to look at our mid laners. This can be pretty rough if you get filled, so what we're really looking for is just not dying, I guess, early, so the other mid laner can't snowball. Lux is pretty good at that because she's got good wave clear, so she can kind of contain and stay really far away. But you have one combo really to learn for max damage potential, which is your QER. Your Q, your root, is going to help set up fights and escape people as well. Your E can be used to zone or slow, and you have huge amounts of burst damage after you get to like 2 items. Another one that is very similar, like looking for players not getting punished, is Ahri, because she's extremely mobile once she reaches level 6. It's very hard to lock her down, to shut her down, and it's hard to punish her if she makes a mistake. You've also got really good wave clear. Again, you have pretty good poke if you hit the enemy champion with your Q pass wave as well, and she is pretty simple to play. Like, you're looking for a charm after that, and that's pretty much it. If you do hit that charm, then you have a lot of burst potential, especially with electrocute, and you're sort of like a mage assassin hybrid, which means you can actually 1v5 a game if you're good and if you get ahead. It's not really going to be a field video for mid lane if we don't talk about Annie. So first of all, she's very easy to farm with her Q, right? You've got the stun timer as well, and you can actually hold your stun, and it can kind of help prevent anybody jumping on you, and so you don't really die. Your E just got updated, so you have this new move speed, which can kind of help you engage, which is nice. But actually, Tibbers fights on after you die, right? So you can actually still help your team, even if you kind of in at the start. There is no real combo or difficult combo for Annie. You're just looking for a stun, and then you're spamming your abilities out and hoping it kills someone. Last up, we're going to look at Malzahar. So he is probably like the best actually to play at the moment to have a really big impact. There are so many parts to him that have crowd control in there, especially with Rylai's, making him really frustrating to play against if you get ahead. It's super easy to farm because your Voilings are doing most of the work for you anyway, and also like your damage over time is doing it. You can keep tank stock down, you can delete squishies with your R, so you're always going to be useful even if you're behind. I think Mal's actually relatively safe as well. Like, he's got so many parts to him that make him really good. Silence, slow with Rylai's when you get that eventually. You've got your ultimate lockdown, your passive shield. Like, he's really good to play. So that is going to wrap up this video, and that is going to be 20 champions that I think you should play if you're filled into another role, or actually, I guess, if you're just trying to learn another role as well. I might be shooting right now and giving away some Zoe codes, so if I am, it'll be a link down in the description below. But thank you for watching until the very end of the video, and for now, I will leave you with robots.